Psalm 24:8.
I'm not turning in my Bible, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, don't turn in your Bibles, keep your Bibles. So tonight's name of God is a little bit longer. Jehovah Gabor Milshama. And I'm not sure I'm saying it exactly right, but that's how somebody from Maryland pronounces it. So anyway, so somebody reads 24:8.
Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle.
Okay, so this name is the Lord mighty in battle. And it got me thinking, when we, look at our lives on a, wow. This is the battle of spell. Remember to write the right words down. When we look at life, it doesn't seem like we're kind of in an endless battle of all kinds of things, So I thought it would be a good exercise to list what are some of the battles you find yourself facing.
The battle to sin.
Okay, so sin.
Battle of atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
My attitude, that's why I'm going to Kurt's.
Attitude.
Is the battle to sin or the battle to avoid sin?
Well, the
It's a
battle,
battle to avoid.
The sin
the
tries.
battle against with
Sin.
whatever.
There you go. How about that?
Sin not.
Sin not. So attitude.
Yeah, we have three kind of enemy: our flesh and a world and Satan. We have battles.
All right.
It's my thought life.
Thank you.
Yeah. But that would be the sin thing I'm talking about. You need something, you're like, oh, I could get that at work. You're like, wow, that's works. That's not mine. I can't take that home.
My brain, my memory, my brain, limited brain.
Well, there's got to be more than that.
And health, our battle, our health.
Okay, so health.
Relationships.
Okay, relationships, and that one takes that's kind of a very loaded because there's family relationships, there's work relationships, there's church relationships. For some of us, it might be a relationship between me, myself, and I, and how that works.
Relationships at work.
What's that?
Relationships at work.
Oh yeah, I know. You have an awful boss.
It's awful.
That's a
Which is
driver.
worse, work or church for you?
It's just a blur.
It's all one and the same, right? But you think about even the battles that any of us that have had family members, or if you've had kids, it's a battle. And I'm sorry there, Mason. I know that your dad's sitting right there. But
we had a conversation. I said, what happens at prayer meeting stays at prayer meeting.
So, well, the truth is that we all, and even for kids, with their parents, that's a battle that goes both ways. The battle to understand your spouse. How many times a needless argument happened when we were both saying exactly the same thing, but just saying it in two different ways.
It's never a problem. She's
Yes.
always right.
Good answer.
So,
Yeah.
that's okay. She's always
Yeah,
right.
different religions.
But it's understanding why she's right. Is the
Please don't say happy wife, happy life. I do not like that
I
expression.
say that.
I know you did. Don't say-
What's that?
That and when mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, same thing.
And that is S.
Yeah, worldly and other religions people will have battle.
Okay, so other religions.
Yeah,
Well, how about if we put other beliefs?
other beliefs. Yeah.
Okay, so things that challenge, and force us to know what we believe and why we believe it. So, but that's a definite battle.
That's a good one.
Time.
Time. All right.
keep them.
Our age.
Age. Okay.
You can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Age, and you got peer groups. Trying to fit, the battle to try and figure out where you fit in. I'm at an age where they consider this midlife crisis, right? So I'm trying to figure out, which car I'm going to go out and buy and drive around. I'm not. So you've got that.
Same age.
For you, it would be a truck anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Faithfulness, I guess. I don't think we got that up there. Obedience.
All right.
Submission.
Isn't it amazing once you start thinking along a thread how many things come to mind?
Yeah.
It's more and more depressing.
See, this is where we turn it around and we realize why this name of God is important.
And it'd be humility. Humility and pride are probably two of the biggest ones. If we can conquer those, if God can conquer those in us, I think He can break us and remake us rather quickly. But if those two, we can't get past those two, then can't really get going on the rest too quick.
Internet.
Internet.
TV also have a lot of bad movies.
TV.
Media in general, I guess you could say.
About distractions.
Media.
And while we are, quote, not at war, I have a feeling that the way this is worded here too is that the Lord is mighty in battle when it comes to our wars with our enemy.
And finance also battle, big battle, finance.
There's a physical battle as well as a spiritual one. Weakness.
By bringing our principalities there.
Spiritual battle, yeah.
Would you say that the mental battle was part of the whole spiritual battle, more or less? Because that's how a lot of times I feel like really mental is spiritually rooted, and mental is just another way to call a spiritual battle. And I think the world has turned it into more like mental disorder, but really it's the roots of it are spiritual disorders. That sin.
I think there are some legitimate mental issues,
Right.
but it
Yeah.
is true that everything gets thrown into that bucket and it doesn't belong.
Right.
And also big battle is finance. Everybody fighting for money.
Oh, money.
Funerals.
Finance. Not funerals.
Finance.
Finance. My language is finance. Finance.
I
Funeral.
thought they were fighting over dead people's money.
Funeral is they've died. You cannot do
A
anything.
lot of family splits that happen over
Yes, there are.
people's inheritances.
Finance. Finance. My language.
So, when you think about it, there's always something that is potentially going to be a battle we find ourselves facing. And like I said, it's not meant to be discouraging, or maybe it's meant to feel as though we've got a lot. And the verse says that who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. And think about the time frame of the psalmist is thinking about this. What did the children of Israel do when they went into battle? What was their battle strategy? Remember?
Didn't they send out the priests and the horns and stuff first?
The ark.
Okay, so right at the forefront,
Right.
out in front, was the Ark of the Covenant. So why?
They wanted to make sure the Lord was on their side,
And
or they were on the Lord's side.
or the enemy knew it.
Yeah. Well, see, there's a visual, aspect of it, because what is this? What does this represent? But two, it was just as much for the children of Israel to realize that the battle they were getting ready to go into, God is at the forefront of it, and that God was going to fight for His people. And, you know, when we think about the different aspects of our everyday, you know, potential, we've got what 3, 6, 9, 10, we got about 30 things on this board right here. Okay, and these are all things that could potentially cause a skirmish, some type of battle in our lives, because maybe it doesn't go the way that we expected. Maybe things come up that we didn't expect. Maybe all kinds of things can come into a battle scenario, because when you think about it, and for any battle that's happened, everybody's fighting to win, but nobody knows who's going to win, until the battle is over. And when we think about the battle that we find ourselves in, first and foremost being a spiritual battle for the souls of men, we know that battle's been won. Okay, and there's something about being a part of a battle that you already know is won, and the God who is mighty in battle. Again, when we think of it from a physical standpoint, when the children of Israel went into battle, and the Lord went before them, and as he was going in there to prepare the land for them, there was a sense in which the battles were physical. But what do you think was more on God's heart than the whole physical aspect of getting the land itself? What was the purpose of that?
Circumcision of the heart.
Okay, that God would be their God. Okay, and so there was very much a spiritual aspect, and as you look at the rest of the scripture, physical battles did happen, and they were waged, and and sometimes the children of Israel did it the right way, sometimes they did it the wrong way. But really, what God was trying to teach them, was also on a spiritual plane, where he wanted them to see that our God is mighty. And we can even go to the point of knowing what we also know in the Bible, that he's almighty. And knowing that, for the children of Israel, once they got their minds and their hearts wrapped around the fact that God was going to go before them in battle and fight for them, think about how things go so much better when you realize that you have an edge. Not that God's an edge, but the thing is that a lot of times, we talk about the mental things and coming over, certain hindrances that can keep us from, doing what we know we should do. For me as a believer, one of the name, thinking about this name and knowing that God is almighty does, help me to see things that, I don't know, just give me a mental peace, and a peace in my heart, knowing that even when I do find myself not being as faithful as I should, I know I can turn to truths in the scriptures to know that God is faithful, to me, even when I'm not faithful to him. Because, I may have some battles that I'm going to end up facing, but the Lord who's mighty in battle isn't just letting me experience these all by myself. God could have given the children of Israel marching orders and just said, okay, you're on your own, go take that land. Okay, and the thing is that God was right there, and the Ark of the Covenant was not only a visual thing for them, but again, it was a reminder of God's presence and that he was there fighting for them. So as you think about all these things that we're fighting for and against, and we need to realize again, and like I said, this is probably something that maybe just even in the last 10 years of my spiritual life is realizing that I don't have to face these things alone. And coming from Alaska, everybody wants to basically, they're all their own people. And the interesting thing was I never had to do counseling in Alaska. And some of it, there's some people that needed counseling, but I honestly did not have to engage. I mean, a lot of the counseling ended up happening as you were, casting a fishing pole or out, hunting or something of that sort. But from a lot of those people, they go to Alaska for one of two reasons: is one, they're running away from something, or two,